Tell you a little story. You know, after the Newtown massacre, almost everybody in the 2A community clammed up. Nobody would talk to the media. Nobody would get out in public. And I said, you know what? No. Our story needs to get out there. And word got around that I was willing to talk. The staff said in the following 60 days, I did 150 interviews worldwide because I was willing to tell our story, that that massacre never should have happened if they were paying attention and doing their job. And they didn't. And our children suffered for it. It was so much so when I was talking about mental health. And we saw Mike Sedini from Walk the Talk America. I had strangers from all around the country emailing me, begging for help, for a friend, a family member, whatever. And I said, if it's so bad out there that they have to reach out to the gun guy for mental health help, it tells you how bad our government is not doing their job. So we actually saw our bill get filed, released from committee, that was horrible. Now, I've made a career, 25 years almost now, of working with the State House, working the issues, rolling up my sleeves, going to work, not sitting behind a keyboard and bitching about it, but actually getting to work. No civil rights fight has ever been won in this country by staying at home, complaining, and hoping somebody's going to save you in a court case. It doesn't happen. When Bruin came down, we were all celebrating. Great win. Finally, the Second Amendment is recognized truly as a civil right. Tons of people. Jim, the fight's over. Did anybody believe that? No. Brown v. Board of Education. The court case was just the beginning. That just solidified our legal rights. The hardest fight is social acceptance. That can take years, decades. Look at how far we've come with all the other civil rights, but look how long it took us to get there. You cannot stay home. I am so proud of the people, and I don't use that term lightly because it puts me in a weird position of being proud of people, but I am. Gun Owners Action League, the work the staff is doing, there's only 20,000 members. 600,000 gun owners out there still have an excuse not to be part of this fight. You are carrying 580,000 people on your shoulders, and that's not right at all. We still have clubs, believe it or not, that adamantly refuse to get in the fight. We still have gun owners that adamantly refuse to get in the fight. If this doesn't get you off your ass, you were never part of us to begin with, period. I got no more time for you. When this started, Chairman Day asked if we would meet with him. So John, Mike, and myself went and met with the staff. He was going to brief us on the listening tour, and what they were going to do. He said, we're going to do some live fire, some ghost gun stuff, but other than that, we just want to fix the laws to make them more understandable. His staffer, Patrick, said, well, we just want to build on the best gun laws in the country. Okay, kind of like building on Hindenburg, right? But anyway, I tried to bring up to him the reports that we have put out using the state's own data, not ours, the state's data that shows since the 98 gun laws have been put in place, gun-related homicides are up 111%. Does anybody think that's a success? Despite what the moms demand attention say? And by the way, Renee Gagne, who couldn't be here, another rock star with Carrie Ann, make sure I get this right, is they have a TV show now called Sisters in Arms, a firearm story, and they do a solid job on that show. I want to tell you what. But Renee said to me one time when I said the moms, and she goes, "Stop calling them moms. They are not moms. There is no person who can call themselves a mom that would leave their children defenseless in the face of a rogue government and violent crime spreading throughout our country, period." When I tried to present the data, I knew what we were facing. You can ask Mike, you can ask John, they were in the room. Chairman Day adamantly refused to have that conversation. I tried 3 times, and he started getting angry. No, we're not talking about that here. You can talk about that outside this office anytime you want, but not here. That's not what we're here for. I knew then that this was a bunch of bullshit. That the listening tour had nothing to do with listening to the general public. They had their puppets in place. And if you went to any of the listening tours, you talk about the moms demand attention, knowing what they're talking about. The one in Lawrence, a woman got up and said, "I think it's about high time this state actually passed safe storage laws." I looked right at the chairman, and even he was like, "Judge, the Muppets aren't working right." A couple of you got that, didn't you? That's what happens when you shove their hand up their ass to make them talk, you know? Sorry for the little kids in the room. Look, she's leaving. I knew then that this was a smokescreen. The only reason they did a listening tour was to make it look good in the face of whatever, the Boston Globe that I now call Pravda, which that's all they are now. It's ridiculous. Every time they call me for a quote, they don't use it. So anyway, we knew it was a joke. The only reason they held a listening tour again was to make it look good, but also as a stall tactic to give them time. I'm here to tell you right now, we know Chairman Day, we know his staff. They don't have the knowledge to write this. And you can't tell me that this bill, 142 pages, suddenly was created within 2 weeks of the listening tour ended. Bullshit. I am convinced that the Giffords Foundation and Bloomberg and whoever else you can name wrote this, funded it. Why else would they fly Gabby Giffords in to meet with Michael Day? No way this came from the State House. Now, the interesting thing is, first time in my career, we got the word out. And I want to tell you this, when we were going through the bill at the office, day 3 at noon, I told the staff, stop, we're done. We're done. And they're like, well, we might miss some stuff. Don't care. How much are you going to add to this to make people wake up? Doesn't matter if we miss anything at this point. You know, you've chopped both legs off. Now you're going to worry about your fingers? No. Can't do it. So we did. We stopped. We got the word out. Initially, a lot of people didn't believe us. This is just another stupid bill filed by a wingnut. And you had to tell them, no. You know, This isn't Dave Linsky screaming from the insane asylum. This has the power of the speaker behind it. This is different. And the mistake they made, well, mistake they made was getting born, but mistake they made with this is normally they try to separate us into groups and pick us apart. That person has one of those scary guns, let's go after him. You know, that person there asked for mental health help, let's go after him. They screwed up bad in this one because they came after all of us. You will not be spared if this thing passes. So it took a little bit of work to get people riled up, but you did. First time in my career, again, using that word proud, you, at least temporarily, stopped a Speaker of the House dead in his tracks. And you all did that. As much work as Goal and the staff do, we didn't do that, you did that. We were just feeding you the ammo belt as you were going, but you all did that. I've never seen that happen in my career, where a speaker gets stopped cold. Even his so-called allies behind closed doors were, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, this is just the first part of the process. Of doing what? It's like a pineapple upside down up your butt? That's part of the process, huh? All right. You stopped them. That was step one. If you hadn't have stopped them, if you hadn't have stepped up the way you had, that bill's law right now. You think Moore's not going to sign it? Yeah? Oh, somebody asked me, by the way, hey, you guys going to have an auction? Yep, win a date with Mora. There you go. We'll set up a dunk tank right here. We will raise so much money. You stopped them. Garrett, you got that last slide? Now we change gears, folks. Now we go on the offense. Screw the defense. Let's get going. September 27th, we need to bring Bruin to Boston. For 25 years, you've told us we have to comply with your bullshit laws that do nothing to stop crime, that do nothing for mental health. Guess what? Now it's your turn to comply with Bruin. You know what your job is. You know you have to repeal most of the gun laws in Massachusetts. No more restrictions. No more, well, we just want to do this. If you want a bill that's going to fight crime, I'll write one for you. But leave our people the hell alone. We've had enough. Let's bring it to them September 27th if they thought January 6th was bad. I don't want to get into that, but I always laugh. Oh, January 6th, that was an insurrection. Well, it was the freaking worst one in history, I'll tell you. What we're seeing here is an insurrection. This bill, flat out, is nothing but a tantrum after Bruin. A flat out tantrum. Nothing short of Governor Wallace of Alabama after Brown v. Board of Education standing in the doorway saying no. California, Mass, New York, all of these places, only 6 states really in the country, Bruin affected. They went on a tantrum right after it. You can't tell us what to do, not in our state. A high court won't tell us what we're doing is wrong. Does that sound familiar in history? Yeah. They really don't yet understand how deep of an anti-civil rights movement this bill was. It is literally the greatest attack on civil rights from a Massachusetts political leader in modern history, period. No other community would be faced with this. Women, imagine this. Women, oh yeah, equal rights. Yep. Before you do, though, you kind of need to read this 140 pages of stuff you need to deal with. How about minorities? Right to vote. Yeah, but here's 140 pages of stuff you need to look at. Marriage. Marry whoever you want, but here's 140 pages of stuff you got to go through before you can do that. No other community would face this in Massachusetts. The level of bigotry that we are facing from our own government is historic, and we need to stop it. The question is, do you have the energy to do it? Because it's not a one and done. A lot of our speakers said that today. This isn't about sitting home hoping somebody else is going to save you. How many people have told me, oh, Jim, just stop this nonsense and file a lawsuit? Here's the thing. We may have to do that. But remember, we have to live with whatever passed while it's getting to court. And remember, the last time Goal and the NRA took more to court, 2016, took us 2 years. I don't even want to tell you how much money. And the court didn't take our case. We have no idea what the Supreme Court's going to look like in 2, 3, 4 years. If Joe Biden is awake enough to actually do changes he wants, well, they're not changes he wants because he doesn't know. But we don't know what that court's going to look like. And are you prepared, or at least the people out there that don't care enough, are you prepared to live with this in hopes the court will fix it? Because they may not. But this is it. This is the fight. This is national news, almost international news. Everybody's watching us right now. And so far, you're doing a phenomenal job. To stop a speaker in his tracks, that's just awesome. So the question is, you ready? You ready to take the fight to them? Yeah. Go back to your clubs. If they don't want to get involved with this, fire them. If your friend who's a gun owner, we're not getting involved in that, tell them to give them your license. Or better yet, next time you're at the line in a competition, click their sights three clicks to the left, because that's what they deserve. If this doesn't get you motivated, what the hell's gonna? One favor to ask of you. July, the Speaker wanted this bill to be law by July 31st because he said he wanted it to be part of his legacy that he got this done before he resigned as a Speaker. Well, let me ask you two favors. First is, let's see if the son of a bitch can resign early. Number two, make sure this bill is stapled, nailed, hammered to his legacy for the rest of his damn life for what he's trying to do to our community. Are you ready? Yeah. Let's get it done. Thanks for coming tonight, folks.